Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Love, the Executive Director of Out for Undergrad. We're so excited that you're here. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. You are part now of the most diverse O4U in our 16-year history. Diversity is very cool, and it requires you to be awake to differences and know how you navigate them and improve if you struggle. Great introductions help, so we ask you to please use your pronouns while you're here at the conference, and don't assume the pronouns of others. Ask them the pronouns that they use. Also, experiment with recognizing and sharing your social location. It'll help deepen your relationships with people and lead to some great conversations. So let's practice. My social location is white, woman, Southerner, well-educated, eclectically religious, upper income, lesbian, and senior citizen. Most of these identities give me privilege and power, and some do not. I live at their intersections, and how they impact me changes on a day-to-day basis, depending on my own choices and those of other human beings. We are accountable to one another. And part of being accountable is not covering up history or rewriting it to suit our own narratives. We begin today with an important ritual at O4U for all of us who care deeply about inclusion and equity. We want to acknowledge the native and indigenous lands upon which all of us in North America gather. In a time when our nation is broken apart and trying to find a way forward, where Black individuals and families are no longer brutalized, we're also mindful that settler colonization and broken treaties have left trauma in the lives of Native people. There is a direct linkage between colonization and white supremacy, and as our nation's underbelly of racism has once again been exposed, and as activists have taken to the streets and social media to push for real change, many of us are trying to do what John Lewis called good trouble. As we reflect on our responsibility as human beings to one another in the course of our weekend, we really ask you to ask deep questions of yourselves and to have difficult conversations, because this is safe and brave space. What do you want the world to come to be? And what is your role in that change? We are here because we already have such confidence in you. You have incredible resumes. You are awesome human beings. And this year, you're coming to us from almost 50 states and from as many countries as we can imagine. You're very diverse when we think of race, ethnicity, orientation, gender, non-binary, trans identification, first generation to attend college, and more. You are, however, the only class to ever apply in the midst of a global pandemic and in the midst of some of the most disruptive economic, political, and social situations in this century, and some would say since the founding of the United States. You can truly say you have done O4U like no one else has. This is also true for our volunteer organizers. They were planning a site-based conference when we pivoted to virtual due to COVID. And I want to recognize the marketing conference team now led by the amazing Chandra Sehu and their extraordinary colleagues, Colin, Matthew C., TJ, Matthew M., Ashley, Maggie, Cesar, Julia, Min, Kevin, June, and David. I also want to thank the digital transformation team led by Brendan Phillips and supported by his team, Daniel, Dillon, E.B., Connor, Ken, and Mitchell Kwan. Thanking also our strategic implementation team, Courtney, Michael, Bill, Emily, our strategic ops team, Rishi, Stephen, Tim, our alumni team led by Brian Council, supported by Abby and Connor, our PR and media team led by Sam Bellissimo and supported by Tyler, Derek, Kevin O'Connell, and Jaylene, and admissions led by Alan Sheave. In addition, almost 100 other volunteers helped support all of you during the marketing conference, including our board. They so deserve our thanks and a standing ovation. And since we can't do that exactly here, I would ask that sometime during the conference, you take a selfie of yourself applauding them. Send it to me and I will share. They have spent hundreds of hours of their time after they get off their day jobs to create this experience for you. While sheltering at home, responding to their own work demands and life demands, and in some cases grieving the loss of family and friends due to COVID. We've never done this type of conference. It is our grand experiment, and we're counting on you to tell us what works and doesn't. We know some of you can't do everything at home you might have chosen to do at our conferences in terms of how you might dress or show up and other stuff, but if you're in a safe space, please bring your whole authentic self to this conference so that you can feel like you. Uncharted situations like this call for unprecedented courage, creativity, and conversations. And I want to talk a bit about these three elements. First, courage. I am so impressed by your courage in this unprecedented mess in the world. You could be offline, hiding out, not attending this conference, not choosing to keep learning and networking, and you made a different choice to show up. That took courage. Courage is a decision, and I believe it's a really good one you've made in these tough times. Our marketing sponsors, some of the largest corporations in the world, are here because they know the best talent is here, you. O4U's highly curated resume book has a great reputation in the talent acquisition pipeline of the world's leading corporations. You will now carry O4U's brand with you as part of your already outstanding resume. We are here to do everything we can to help you get what you want and need out of this experience. And we had to get really creative, and you will too. We got creative by starting the early networking with sponsors online and opened it up to as many recruiters from their firms as they wanted to send. We started our first O4U job board because we know we have to expand our typical range of activities. One weekend is not enough in a digital world. And let's be real, it's harder to stay engaged digitally. But I want to ask you to do that. I want to ask you to attend every session, come on time, take advantage of every opportunity. Students have told us over the past 16 years that O4U has changed their lives. We don't want you to miss that moment. So after courage, creativity. One of the things that happens at O4U typically is a kind of creativity explosion. People start thinking differently, sometimes dressing differently, changing up what they thought was important on their resume, practicing unique introductions. Some people come out for the first time to another person. We encourage you to be your most authentic and creative self while here. This is safe and brave space. What is your story? Who are you? Find your voice. And I want to invite you into some deep and even difficult conversations while you're here. What does it mean to be your authentic self? What really matters to you in life and work? What if you decide that what you thought you wanted to do when you applied for this conference isn't what you want to do? How do you pivot? What if you discover things about yourself you want to change? And what if you just feel depressed about being stuck at home? You're going to find a lot of people who can relate to all of these. The good news is there's no better place to ask yourself hard questions and have great conversations than here. All of us, in one way or another, have asked ourselves these very same questions as LGBTQ plus professionals. We've tried out a lot of ideas and a lot of jobs and found our way here. So even if you feel afraid or you're just shy, be courageous, be creative, have deep, even difficult conversations, lots of them. We have complete confidence in you. Thank you for joining the O4U community. We love you. We're here to help. You've got this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, O4U 2020 Marketing Conference. Thank you so much for having me here and for joining us. My name is Spencer Schrage and my pronouns are he, him, his. I am the Global Director of Operations for Ogilvy Consulting, and I lead business operations for Ogilvy's strategy and innovation consultancy, designed and dedicated to providing advisory services to clients at the intersection of brand and corporate strategy, innovation, digital, and growth. I also help to run day-to-day operations for this consulting offer worldwide, overseeing its growth, its marketing, and of course serving clients large and small across a wide portfolio of industries. I'm also, importantly, an out and proud gay man in his mid-30s. And as executive sponsor of this year's event, I'm proud to represent Ogilvy on behalf of not only our organization, but also the ever-evolving world of marketing and communications. Though we can't be together in person this year, as Ogilvy has hosted the conference at our chocolate factory headquarters the past many years, I've been assured that using best-in-class technologies, this event will bring all of you together for moments of growth and development, and of course opportunities to hear from some of the most innovative, the most disruptive, and the most diverse companies helping to shape and transform their respective industries. To kick off the conference this year, I wanted to touch on 3 points, 3 reasons that, from my vantage point, O4U, this marketing conference, and your participation are so important this weekend, not only to our industry and the companies you will soon work at, but also our communities and our culture at large. First, it's important to acknowledge the times we live in. This year has been nothing short of a horror show on just so many different fronts. Over 200,000 lives lost here in the US, systemic racial injustice rearing its head, hopefully leading to systemic and long-awaiting change, climate issues are out of control, and more. I bring this up not to dwell on the past, but for 2 other reasons. First, I believe strongly that when lives are lost, it's all of us as leaders to step in and honor the voices no longer heard. This year, from the coronavirus to the unconscionable murder of George Floyd, we have so many reasons we need to use our voice to make right these wrongs. And be that voice for the hundreds of thousands of people no longer with us due to this outrageous pandemic. Using our voice can take so many different shapes. From getting the first job you hope to have, to sitting up a bit taller for a board-level discussion with your new boss or mentor, to building new and exciting marketing campaigns that captivate public attention. To, of course, voting, the power of our voices, individually and collectively. It's true, and we need to ensure that young LGBTQ+ voices are heard and represented this November and beyond. Second, I'm here as Ogilvy's executive sponsor, but also as an out and proud gay man and gay leader here at Ogilvy, our creative network, having helped lead not only our consulting group for 6 years now, but also corporate new business and our digital transformation capability. Being out in the workplace is becoming easier and easier, luckily, but we all still know that barriers exist toward full workplace equality. And this is on the ballot again. And as we live during a period that we call plus, people living under stress, it's all the more important to take stock of and be sensitive toward people's differences and diverse sexual orientations. Ogilvy has a long-standing commitment to both supporting O4U and our segment of the population at large, but that doesn't necessarily account for the many ways this pandemic has disproportionately affected our communities. I believe strongly that this took a particular toll on the gay world. Take, for example, the issues and emotional challenges of being forced to stay at home for months on end. This proves particularly challenging to a group of people whose fiber, our very DNA, is all about congregating for change, getting together, socializing amongst one another, because in our world, our community, for so many years, it served as our family. It served as our place to come together. For so many years, our communities were our families. And so when we have feelings of loneliness or feeling like you may be the only gay person you know, or if you're closeted or you're questioning, during these tumultuous times, it's important that we honor how difficult this has been amongst one another and with our allies. I also believe that we're a group that very much proudly stands on the shoulders of a community that knows all too well the horrors of getting through prior pandemics, namely the HIV/AIDS crisis. Our LGBTQ+ family, especially those who faced the challenges of the 80s and 90s, first and foremost, know well how the physical health and importantly, the emotional stressors of getting through and living with a crisis like this, we need to learn from. We need to honor what those who came before us have been through, so that we, in turn, can be beacons of light within our extended communities to show how we've dealt with this in times past, how we can best get through it together, using humanity as a driving force at its core. And now to why you're all here today. Point number 3, the O4U Marketing Conference. We're ready to get this started, and at Ogilvy, we believe strongly in what we call whole brand mentality. And what I mean by that is that when we think about building brands, making brands matter, we don't think about communication anymore in a siloed way or in a one-off fashion or a piece of material coming from a company to a consumer. A brand today is really about the experience that a consumer or a potential consumer feels at every single touch point with an organization, no matter large or small. And as our industry evolves, and we talk much more about these experiences versus a single piece of communication or an ad or a campaign, so too we must think about how we speak to people of all types, all backgrounds, all POVs, all value systems, LGBTQ+. This industry is exciting today on so many fronts. For starters, as marketing leaders, you will have the opportunity yourselves to craft stories yet told and the narratives that are going to be making the headlines, using the power of companies and brands as just vehicles to help solve some of the pressing issues I've outlined, and more. Brands on their best days and their best interactions can help solve for some of our time's most important cultural issues and tensions. That's why Ogilvy exists, actually, to help companies do just that. And now you are charged with being the steward of this action and change for the next generation of marketing leaders. I can think of nothing more important. And finally, while we're seeing shifts in our industry, where clients are asking more questions, not just about comms, but also about growth, product innovation, new business models, financial valuation, shared agendas, brand platforms, architecture, and more, we have an opportunity to elevate the role of the marketer to levels previous unforeseen. We're at a pivotal point in the world of marketing, where across industries, CEOs are now finally, long-awaikedly, seeing how integral our work is, not only as it pertains to communications and the power of the word, but also organizations more broadly and the ways they do business. So, on behalf of Ogilvy, we're honored to sponsor this year's event. We hope you enjoyed the tremendous amount of programming O4U Cindy and her team have wonderfully put together for you. I'm a huge fan. I encourage you to speak up and speak out, and loudly and proudly. Feel safe in the digital channels and on the tools that Cindy and team have put together these next many days. I hope this process does prove a beacon of light for you during these otherwise difficult times, and I trust that with the resilience that is all of you and the power you have to impact meaningful change and lead our industry forward, we will be in good hands. Just remember one thing. No matter the campaign you work on, the brand strategy you might help to mold come the future, the experience you design, the most important thing we can do is speak truth to the power of who we are as individuals, of who came before us, of who we stand for, and also for the futures that we want to shape, a more equitable, more fair, more inclusive ones. Honor and own each and every part of who you are, no matter the business or brand challenge at hand, because the more quickly we can do that, the more quickly we'll be able to be the change we want to see across marketing circles in the world. If you'd like to learn about Ogilvy, please don't hesitate to reach out for me. For now, though, enjoy the weekend. Please enjoy this tremendous event. I'm so sorry I can't be there in person. Enjoy hearing from many speakers. Take as many opportunities that come your way at the career fair. Put yourself out there. Learn and be guided from the mentorship. Be open to it. And I hope to see you in person next year. My warm wishes for a terrific event. And I look forward to speaking with all of you soon.
Category is social distancing. DJ, start the music.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi there. Hello.
Hola.
Hey.
Hello.
Yay!
We're glad you're here.
Welcome.
Runway.
Welcome to Out for Undergrad 2020. We are the Out for Undergrad Board of Directors, and we wanted to say a few quick words to you as you attend this O4U event and join the O4U community.
And this is quite the community you're joining. You're surrounded, virtually at least, by incredible peers at this event, as well as a community of O4U alums, volunteers, and mentors who are just as excited for you as we on the board are.
We know 2020 has been a year unlike any other. And whether you're joining us from your parents' house, your college dorm room, or somewhere else, you're handling the changes so well. Still, we wish we could be with you in person this year.
But because we're coming at you over the internet, we've been able to make 2020 O4U's most diverse year ever. Diversity, equity, and inclusion have always been core to our mission and our community. And now they'll be at the heart of this weekend's events.
So what does the board do? We're all volunteers. We live around the country and we work in all different industries. Our role is to oversee all of Out for Undergrad and to ensure that we reach our mission.
to help high-achieving
LGBTQ plus
undergraduates reach their full potential.
And that is why what we love the most is meeting you, the students.
The students.
The students.
The students.
That's you.
It's Brittany, bitch.
So even though we can't be with you in person, we can be with you virtually.
We'll have structured time for you to meet the board this weekend, and we encourage you to get to know us. We'll be in some of your mentorship groups and are around at any time for informal chats.
When I attended as a student, the experience was life-changing. It was a weekend that shaped my career and helped me feel comfortable coming out at work.
You'll make professional contacts and new friends. You'll be connected to recruiters for internships and full-time jobs.
And you'll learn how to navigate the working world as your authentic self.
Because I am what? Sickening.
What does it mean to be fully yourself as an LGBTQ plus person with intersectional identities in today's professional world?
Thank you for giving us your weekend, your attention, and your energy. We have a lot packed in and we think you'll love it.
So get comfortable and get excited because O4U 2020, here we go.
Get so excited.
Let's do this.
Let's get it.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
See you online.
And remember, don't it up.